Hi, my name is Amy, and I wanted to offer this practice, a meditation on unconscious bias. So you might have heard this word before, unconscious bias, sometimes also referred to as implicit bias. And what it's referring to is that gap between our conscious values and our unconscious tendencies towards bias or prejudice. So, for example, we might have a conscious value of equality, but in our behaviors or speech, somehow it doesn't always come through for certain kinds of people. The point is that somebody or everybody has some bias and some prejudiced thoughts, which are often conditioned by the culture and society around us. So whether we have some bias around gender or race or sexual orientation, a person's size, the size of their body or class or other things, we all have biased thinking to some degree because we're influenced by the culture and the society and the values of that culture that we live in. So the important thing is that with mindfulness practice, we can see this, see the implicit bias and release it. So for today, I thought we would do a practice, and it's actually based off of Sebene Selassie's work. She's a mindfulness teacher based in New York, and really good teacher. You can look her up online if you're interested. But we'll break down the meditation today into two parts. First, we'll work with ourselves. First, we'll work with any judgments, thoughts that we have about ourselves, and we see where they might have come from. And then we'll work on any judgments that we have around other people. So I invite you to take a comfortable seat, or you can stand if you like. But if you're sitting, just maybe closing the eyes, maybe rocking a little bit from side to side in your chair so that you can really feel your bottom, your sit bones on the chair, and feel the soles of the feet touching the floor. And we'll begin with 3 deep breaths. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and 2 more times like that. Maybe inhale through the nose, filling up the belly and the lungs with air, and then exhaling everything out. And then last time, filling up the belly and the chest on the inhale, and releasing, relaxing on the exhale. Very nice. And as you're ready, maybe we'll just do a very brief body scan, noticing your feet touching the floor, maybe noticing the coolness or the hardness of the floor underneath you. Or if you have a carpet, maybe noticing the softness of the carpet. And then scanning your attention up the legs, softening, releasing, relaxing through the legs. Noticing the contact between your bottom, sitting on the chair or the cushion, the sensations of pressure, heaviness. And then releasing, relaxing through the belly. Sometimes we habitually hold our belly in, so it's nice to just soften, release, relax on the exhale. Taking your time to make yourself feel comfortable in your body. Releasing the belly, and then also releasing the chest, maybe with the exhale, taking a full breath into the chest and the heart center. And then exhaling, softening, releasing, relaxing with your exhale. Maybe you'd like to roll your shoulders back a few times to release any tension that might be there. Doing whatever you need to do to help your body feel comfortable, and releasing your arms by your side, or maybe placing your hands in your lap. And scanning up the neck and over the back of the head, top of the head, noticing any sensations there. Over the face, allowing the eyes to close, or if that's not comfortable, then allowing your eyes to be open, but the gaze soft in front of you. Let the muscles around the eyes soften, release, relax. There's no need to look at anything right now, so just let them rest for now. In the jaw, sometimes we hold a lot of tension habitually in the jaw. So you can open and close the mouth a few times, or maybe move that mandible from side to side to help release the tension there. And also softening the tongue, letting the tongue rest. And when you're ready, opening your attention to include the whole body sitting here, breathing here. And whatever feels comfortable for you to rest your attention on, maybe it's the sensations of breathing around the nose or the upper lip. For some people, it's more comfortable to rest the attention on the rise and fall of the chest or belly. And for other folks, it might be easier to just rest the attention on sound, on the sense of hearing, noticing sounds as they arise and pass away, and noticing the silence between sounds. So whatever anchor helps you to settle into the present moment, choosing that for your anchor. And also acknowledging any emotions that might be predominant in your experience right now. Maybe you have a lot of energy or low energy. Maybe you're feeling happy or you're sad. Maybe you're restless or anxious. Or maybe you're feeling overall kind of calm, peaceful. Whatever it is, just kind of noticing how that's what's happening right now in your experience. And breathing with it. Now I invite you to bring to mind something that evokes maybe some self-judgment or self-criticism in you. It could be something from the past, or maybe an ongoing judgment that you have towards yourself. So on a scale of 1 to 10, not choosing something that is the most difficult thing, not something that is traumatic, but something in the mid-range of 4 or 5 or 6, something that you can work with today. So this could be related to an aspect of yourself that you dislike, or maybe a perceived failure, some way that you are somehow not measuring up, maybe at work or in a relationship. Or maybe you're judging yourself for how you're behaving in a relationship, or maybe you feel you haven't achieved enough in your life. So choose an issue or self-judgment that's not too difficult, but that's not neutral for you either. Choose something that you like to work with for today. And once you've chosen what it is, be clear about what you're choosing, what issue you're choosing. Just as a scientist might, observing with awareness and curiosity. Notice if there's particular ideas or words related to this issue for you. Maybe there's a certain image or a certain feeling that arises for you around this self-judgment or self-criticism. Notice if there's anything about it that you can see clearly. Maybe there's an expectation or belief connected to this issue. For example, maybe there's an expectation that you should behave differently, or be different, or look different. Or maybe there's a belief, such as maybe I'm failing at this, or I'll never be good enough. So see if you can sense into what this expectation or belief might be. Just being curious about it, not trying to solve it or to fix it, but just simply noticing how it emerges for you right now in your experience. If it's something that's unpleasant, it can feel difficult to be with, but see if you can make space for it, allowing it to be there. Maybe taking some deeper breaths to breathe with it, to be with this experience with curiosity, with kindness. Just acknowledging what's coming up for you right now. And notice how this self-judgment shows up in your body. Where do you feel it in your body? What areas of your body are affected? Maybe the torso or the chest, the shoulders or the hands, the face, the throat. Maybe certain parts of the body feel more tense or tight. Take a deep breath if that helps you to connect with your body. And sense where you feel this issue or judgment about yourself. And see if you can meet this self-judgment with some kindness and compassion. What would that feel like? I invite you to maybe try placing a hand on the heart center in the middle of the chest, just as a gesture to kind of be with yourself, be with that part of yourself that is feeling vulnerable, feeling criticized or judged. Maybe offering some kind words to this part of the body where you feel the judgment or the emotion. Bringing some curiosity and kindness to these feelings of self-judgment. Now let's go a little bit deeper. Staying connected to your felt body sense, see if you can have a sense of where this self-judgment came from, where it originated. Maybe there was an expectation from your family or from peers. Maybe you got some messages from media or society, the culture around you. When and where did you first encounter this idea or belief? Who or what is the voice of your self-judgment? Is there a face associated with it? Maybe it's a specific person or a group of people. Maybe a place. Maybe there's a feeling or memory associated with this self-judgment. Where did the self-judgment come from? And see if you can sense how this particular judgment or bias is conditioned, that it has been influenced by other messages that you've gotten, maybe from family or culture or society, media, that this isn't necessarily your thought, but a belief that you internalized. And how does that make you feel when you recognize this? Take a moment to notice if there's a little more space or relaxation around this issue now for you. Now I invite you to take 3 deeper breaths as we transition to step 2. So now I invite you to bring to mind someone or maybe a group of people that you judge based on a characteristic, not a behavior. So this could be based on race, class, gender, sexual orientation, culture, size, or their appearance. For example, maybe you always judge rich people, or maybe you judge homeless people, or maybe you feel tense around people of a different race or a different culture. So bring to mind a picture or maybe a memory of this group of people or a particular person. And are there any particular ideas or words that come to mind when you think of this person or people? What are they? So again, just observing your mind as if you're a scientist, just being curious and aware, non-judgmental about whatever is arising in the mind. Are there any particular ideas or words that come to mind when you think of this person or people, group of people? Any associations? And notice if there's any beliefs connected to this type of person, this group of people. Maybe you have beliefs that they should look different or be different, act different. Can you sense what this expectation or belief might be? Whatever is emerging in your experience, just try to make space for it and allow it to be there without trying to solve it or fix it or push it away. But just being curious about it, simply noticing how this belief arises for you in your experience right now. And see if you can meet the feeling of this bias, judgment, belief with some kindness and compassion. Knowing that this too, this bias or judgment, is also a conditioned belief or thought. See if you can bring some curiosity, compassion, kindness to whatever is arising in your mind. And again, you can take your hand to your heart center if that felt supportive and connecting for you. And the most important thing to remember is that about unconscious bias is that it's unconscious. While most of us or none of us want to hold racist views or sexist ideas, the subconscious mind has stored biased information from society, from our culture and media, and we exhibit those bias through our thoughts, speech, and actions. And sometimes we might even unintentionally hurt others or hurt ourselves. Bias isn't always hostile either. Sometimes it shows up as simply not noticing people who are different from us. So just pausing and taking a few deep breaths. Notice how you feel in your body right now. And when you're ready, let's go a little deeper. So keeping this person or this group of people in your mind, refreshing that image or memory if you need to. See if you have a sense of where this bias or judgment about this person came from, or this group of people came from. Where did this particular judgment or bias come from? Maybe there were messages that you received from your family or culture, the media, society. These messages that have shaped your views and opinions. Where did you first encounter this idea or belief about this person or group of people? Maybe there's a specific memory that comes to mind, or maybe a general feeling. who or what is the voice of your bias? Is there a face, a person associated with this bias or prejudice? Maybe there's a place or a memory associated with where you first learned this. And how does it make you feel to know that this isn't necessarily your thought, but the culture's thought? Something that we've been conditioned to believe, to view. And as we end this meditation, contemplation, see if there's maybe a little more space or relaxation around this issue, even if it's just a little bit. Noticing how you feel in your body right now. And please remember that most bias or prejudice is unconscious, whether it's towards ourselves or others. And unconscious bias doesn't mean that we're bad people, having bad thoughts. It just means that we're human beings, that we've been conditioned and influenced by the cultures that we've lived in, that we've grown up in. And the teacher, spiritual teacher Krishnamurti once said, "You believe you're thinking your thoughts, but you're not. You're thinking the culture's thoughts." And mindfulness can help us bridge this gap between our conscious values and our unconscious conditioning. So as you're ready, maybe taking a few, maybe deeper breaths, conscious breaths. Gently opening your eyes, feeling your body sitting in the chair, maybe looking around your room, connecting to your surroundings and your body. Thank you very much for having the courage to explore this issue, and thank you for exploring this as part of your practice. Namaste.